We're with Jennifer Berson, and you're going to be on the panel for Growing Your Brand, Personal and Business.
Yes.
And thank you so much for chatting with MomFair TV and for being here with us today.
Nice to meet you.
So Jennifer, you started your own PR firm. You were a lawyer, and then you went on to start your own PR firm, Generation PR.
Yes.
Can you share with us some key strategies on how you grew your business and started your business?
Well, for me, I started my business really lean, so I didn't take on a lot of overhead. I started my business out of my house, and I actually still run my business to this day from home, and I kind of pass those savings on to my clients. And I also just basically, I ramp up when I need support, and I can bring in a great team of experts, and rather than having people on staff 24/7, I have people that I can bring in when I need to, and just started really lean. I actually also started my business by working for free in the beginning to get the experience.
Great.
And once I realized that I loved that work and it felt so good to do that work for free, I thought if I could make a living and do this full time, that would be the best job ever. And in order to kind of grow my business, I went to a company I had a lead on as a new client, and I convinced them to give me a chance. And I said, just whatever market rate is, I'll come in at X, at 50% of market rate. And give me 3 months, and if you like what I do, then we can kind of renegotiate. And that was 11 years ago.
Wow.
And I'm still working with that brand to this day. It was my very first client. And it kind of helped grow an expertise. So I really focused on a specific niche that I was very comfortable in. And so my very first client was a baby brand and luxury accessories company. And so now we have kind of a deep expertise in the baby space. And so I've been able to use that work as a platform to get other clients, and also to create deep expertise of the space and contacts and understanding of, industry trends. So that was a really good plan for me.
I mean, it sounds like it was very strategic, and it's worked out, so it's amazing.
Yeah, looking back on it, it sounds strategic. I'd say now I would probably all just kind of happened the right way. All of it is very kind of serendipitous, but it kind of made a good strategy going along, and that's part of marketing yourself, is kind of looking at your story and how you can use all the pieces that you have in place, or the path that you've taken. For me, it's not a linear path to go from being a lawyer to having your own PR firm, but I kind of use it to tell my story about transition and what things are important to me and how passionate I am about the work that I do. And so, now it seems strategic, like a great story to tell, but that's all part of, filling in the gaps with your story.
What are some of the key social media platforms that you would recommend using for strategies for branding?
Well, so there's a lot, and there's a lot of noise. Right now, I'm very big into Instagram because it's almost like a pure platform these days. It's Facebook is definitely a pay-to-play platform. You have to pay to acquire fans, and then you have to pay to market to those fans because they're not really seeing your content, even if they're a fan of your brand. And I think Facebook is great when there's an initiative with a very strong call to action. If you want somebody to go over to your website to buy something, or you're running some kind of a promotion or giveaway, definitely invest some ad dollars in Facebook. But from a pure content platform, I think Instagram is great. The engagement's really high, it's very visual, and it's all about creating a visual concept for your page that's very cohesive, that represents your brand and what image you're trying to put forward. So I tell our clients, and when we work with our clients on social, we tell them to approach their visual content like a magazine. So all the content really flows together. It has a very similar look and feel. The filters are all consistent. I mean, if you're standing next to Oprah and you take a picture with Oprah and that picture's blurry or it doesn't look great, I would say don't post it. You want your content to be very polished. But at the same time, I'm all about being realistic and being your authentic self, and putting out things that genuinely reflect what's happening in your life. And it doesn't have to be polished and perfect all the time. And in fact, I recently put up a post on Instagram about really how chaotic things were going for me in my own life, and kind of fessing up to the fact that it's not always perfect and things were crazy, and maybe this picture was really beautiful looking, but the reality around it was a little bit more chaotic. And that was my most engaged with post so far. So I love that authenticity, and I think Instagram is a great place to achieve that.
That's really cool. It's very relatable too, that you
Yeah.
went behind the perfection of the
Yeah.
photograph. That's
Yeah.
great. What are, well, in this era of social media, we were just talking about being authentic, it's becoming increasingly important. What does that mean to you, and how can we achieve that? I mean, we sort of touched upon it with that story of the photo, but what are some other strategies?
Yeah, I think, really understanding who your customer is, who your target demographic is, like who are you talking to? And we call it an ideal customer avatar. So it's really painting a very specific picture of that person. It's not a demographic, it is a woman. What is her name? What does she buy? Does she have children? What does she do for a living? What are her hopes and dreams? And really identify that person. And when you know who you're communicating with, who's on the other end of that conversation, you can really target your message accordingly to that person. And I think, telling a story that means something to you, sharing the pluses and the minuses, trying to make your brand and your persona very relatable, and understanding maybe what your ideal customer is looking to accomplish in their lives and how you fill that void. And I always tell brands, social media should be about 20% of promotion and more like 80% of content that's valuable. And you're creating a community, you want them to find a reason to come back and see you again. Yeah. So you want to give them content that's relatable, that they can extract value out of, that's not always just about yourself, because if you keep putting out promotional content, they're gonna leave because they won't find value in that over the long term.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.